All right, friends, so we're starting off our day with these beautiful eggs that I picked up from our local farm store, our local feed store, which we don't really have that many around. So like I told you guys, he was selling eggs. These eggs, look at this one. It's huge. You don't see stuff like this in the grocery store. And they taste great. I actually bought 2 dozen, and this is out of the other box, but they have been wonderful. So this is today's breakfast. We grabbed some arugula from the garden, have a little bit of mushroom. These are organic portobello mushrooms. We actually just picked those up from Costco. And then our local eggs. So I'm super excited since I can't have chickens. This is how we're gonna start our day. And then we're gonna get on those new grow boxes. You guys are gonna be opening them at the same time I'm opening them. It's gonna be great. I can't wait to see this new color that I've picked out. All right, so we are outside. I've brought the box. We're gonna get it cut open and see what this color looks like. Check that out. It's like this, just kind of matches my pants a little bit. It's like this subtle bluish color. Honestly, I don't think I would be able to tell it's blue. I thought it was going to be much bluer than it actually is. Wow. Here's the close-up of it. And all of these actually have this plastic film over them. So that's one of the biggest time-consuming pieces. So why I say we're gonna get this in today, that's my goal. But I've actually got 2 boxes that need to be replaced. Plus there's still vegetables out in those boxes. I've got a lot of green tomatoes. They haven't turned red yet. I've got arugula in that bed. I've got those tall papaya trees that are growing out of that bed that I need to transplant today. So that's what I'm saying. Stuff for the garden is very time consuming, and people just don't realize how much work this can really be. But the work is definitely worth it when you're getting some delicious food. All right, so here is what this looks like. And then you can see that the bad part is that they kind of overlap this film back here on this back side. And then I'll show you guys, see? And so we end up having to take this off of each one of these and the circle parts, the end parts. So this is going to take a little bit. So as soon as I'm done, I'll bring you guys back. But I just wanted you to see what that film actually looks like so you know what to expect when you get one of these. Oh, friends, I feel awful ripping these plants out because there are so many little bees buzzing around right now. Look, there's little bees. There was 10 or 15 of them flying around over here, but yeah, I feel sad. Goodness gracious. All right, so the papayas, I'm gonna have to get a new stand. This stand's acting up. So look, y'all, they grow like a weed. No joke. All of, which y'all can't see right this second, all of this right here is just gonna be turned under. It's arugula. I thought I was gonna sit here and cut it, and maybe I should call my parents and see if they want to come over here and get it. Yeah, I don't know what to do with it, but anyway. All right, we're gonna ignore that for right now though, because this is a tomato that I'm ripping out. Here's a tomato that's gonna become compost. I'm gonna turn it back into the beds. But you see, these papaya, they are weeds, friends, for us here in this area, which is a blessing. I love a weed. I love a good weed like this because it produces such beautiful, lovely food for us. So this one broke. I want to show you guys that you see it's like hollow. These are just very thin plants, but my taproot, do you see how long this taproot is? These things are like insanely long. So you have to dig a hole from like here to China to get these things buried. Really not that far, but the point is that they will just like keep going deep to get their nutrients. So you got to make sure, as long, this will be fine, this will come back, honestly. It'll start to branch off, and if anything, it'll start to split and have something really beautiful. So in all honesty, this is going to be what I'm actually trying to hang on to. The smart thing to do, so do not follow me in what I'm doing, because here's the top of it. That's going to go back into the compost when I move those beds over here today. Is gonna be to dig these up, and I may end up needing to do that, but probably not. Let's see. No. Okay. That's what I'm saying. These are very weak. This is why they get damaged. This is why they fall over. Do you see the taproot on this? This is insane. So I've got to dig a hole deep enough that's like basically longer than my arm to get these replanted over here. So I've got some, because I want to get all of them planted, that's for sure. Never lose out on the opportunity to have nutritious food. So I'm going to just, for now, since these don't last very long, I'm going to move them over here by our fence. See, here's one right here. It just popped up on its own and it's just growing wild and free. That is a rogue tomato. Do you see where it's like coming over the pool? Here is the other part of this tomato. That is what a free-range tomato looks like. It's just insane. It's large. It's beautiful. And we are grateful for the rogue, the rogue food, as I call it. So we've got a lot of cleaning up to do. And if anything, if these don't grow, that's okay, because I know that they will grow at some point. So like I can get more, I can get seeds. And I've got the 4 that are back here, like behind me right here, they survived. So these will start producing over there. They'll have plenty of seeds, and I will have plenty of papaya to eat. I'm telling you, they are good survival food. They taste, as I'm moving you guys through the garden, they taste great. They're wonderful. I have dug these holes. My fiance is actually out to breakfast with my older uncle. They went to a local restaurant. Remember, support locals. My uncle needed his TV fixed. So, all right, so you see this taproot. The hole that I have right now is not gonna cut it, so I gotta keep digging for that one. But this one will survive. So I'm going to go ahead and start getting these planted. So make sure that you dig a hole very, very long to get these. That's why you want to get them at a real small stature, so that way they can keep growing. All right, I'll bring you guys back. I'm going to line them up over here on this fence line, and it's live or die. It's survival here, friends. I'm not gonna have a plant that I really have to invest a lot of time in, unless it's a vegetable that I want. But a long-term fruit plant needs to survive pretty much on its own, with maybe just a little bit of care. And that's what I want you guys to kind of keep in mind, is that you want something simplicity. You want something that's going to be a little bit easier for you to grow without having a lot of stress or worry, and it's giving you abundance and so much love and fruit that it makes life so much easier. You can make wonderful things with papaya. All right, so sadly I have to get all these tomatoes out of here. So I'm going to be doing some pickling of green tomatoes. So this is part of the cleanup. It's kind of like a forced cleanup because these beds are just dangerous. So like I've told y'all, we got to get this done. So you can pickle green tomatoes. So if like a storm comes through or something happens, it's a good idea to go ahead and, or if you know like a lot of rain's coming and you don't want your tomatoes to split and look like that, which I'll just throw that out in the yard, then that's a good idea to just get out here and just start taking them down. So that is what we are doing today. Looks like some of these tomatoes are actually getting attacked anyway. I know we've had a lot of birds and squirrels, and so Kind of sad to see these first kind of beds gone. This area actually over here used to be just ground. I did in-ground gardening, so there wasn't a pool, there wasn't like anything that we had. And we love our little pool, honestly. Like, I know some people are like, oh, just put in a regular pool, but I don't want anything permanent. I mean, yes, we could put in a regular pool, but you know, the older you get, the more you just don't want to deal with stuff like pools. So that's how I feel. Everybody has their own opinion. So, or you got to pay somebody maintenance. I know our older neighbor next door, he has to pay somebody to like maintain his pool for him. So I'm just like, yeah, that's not what I want to invest in when I'm older. I'd rather do like garden investments for sure. So if I still got the energy, I want to be like a blue zone person and be able to have a lot of energy and be healthy and happy and eating good food. That's what I want. I want to be more sustainable. So that's the goal here. So we're gonna get all this cleaned up, and I will bring you guys back, but I just kind of want to give you a final little look before we transform this area. Look at that nasturtium. I mean, it's beautiful. It's just cascading out of the bed here. I've got some arugula over here in the back. I've got to get these onions out. And over there you can see there's some more beautiful arugula. This whole area is going to completely transform. I'm going to get these greens out. I've got to cook them down today. It's going to be a lot of takedown, but so worth it at the end. So we've got a lot of stuff to get done. Look at that. Like, but these beds are just very dangerous. They're just, so I do not recommend them. You can see like right here in the corner, you see how that is. It's just rusted, and if you get near it, I've cut myself on my legs several times walking through here. The dogs run through here, they hurt themselves, and I'm just not gonna have that anymore. So, and that's what I'm saying, when you start to plan, sometimes you just don't know what you want to do, and so you kind of start off small. So you start off small, you know, you get these little beds. Look at that beautiful yellow nasturtium or nastrium, whatever you want to call it. That's beautiful. I'm going to try to see if I can transplant these. I don't think they're going to transplant very well. I don't have much going on in this bed that I can't replace. But yeah, you know, you start off small. You think like, this will be good for now. Let me just see how it goes. I didn't know how much I would love gardening and how therapeutic it actually is for me personally. You know, every therapist needs a therapist, and this is my therapy. Gardening is really just a relief for me, especially being in the field of death and dying. Plants die, you know, people die, and I think it's just, it's kind of a good reality for me to kind of sit back and just, you know, watch nature, because it'll come back. And so that's what it is. Like, something will kind of come in its place a little bit. I mean, death is a little different when it, you know, you're talking about pets or humans or something, but it does show that, you know, this is just a cycle of life, and it gets you, personally for me, it gets me a little more comfortable with the area that I work in. Not that I'm not comfortable at this point, but when I first started, I could have used more gardening, I think. But you know, everybody has their vice, and this is mine. So I'm glad you guys are here on the journey with me, and we're sharing it together, and we're building. So my recommendation is, if you think this is something that your heart is really in, like this is really something you want to do and you've got the space for it, I just recommend that you start off growing out of these Vego beds. You will not, I don't believe you would regret the investment if this is just where your heart's at. These beds will last quite some time, and to me, in-ground gardening is great, but there's a lot of variables that go into in-ground gardening, and you can have no-till. There's all kinds of ways you can do that type of gardening, but for me, we were tilling the yard, we were making big gaps, dirt was running out of the beds, I'd have to replace it with a lot of nutrients. I'm just doing small gardening. I'm obviously, you know, just keeping it within this tight-knit little space, but for two people, and I, like y'all know, I have the ability to share with my friends and family, and so for me, this is perfect. It's just enough that I can work, I can have a life, like I'm not so caught up. Now, I do choose to invest a lot of my time into gardening, but I'm just saying, like, you can kind of just step back, and there's just beauty in growing. There's beauty in this nature. There's beauty in what you're bringing to this earth and to the bees. And you know, Mother Earth will thank you, and you will end up thanking yourself because you've made this investment. This is truly an investment in self. So this is a portion of self-care, whether people recognize that or not. And I was watching this show. I mean, I wasn't really like watching it, but I was just watching like these people, and like every meal that they ate was like out to eat food. Like, and I mean like Burger King, McDonald's, fast food. Maybe that's a fair statement, like fast food. And I'm just like, you're killing yourself. Like, no wonder there's quite a bit of the American population that is really just unhealthy, because unfortunately we just don't feel like, I guess, this is a good investment. And a lot of people, they can't afford it. I'm just gonna keep it real. Like, gardening is not cheap, but you gotta buy acreage. You gotta buy, unless you're buying those grow towers, which I told you I'm not doing that anymore personally. I gave that to my mom. I did not like that at all. So but yeah, I mean, get with friends that grow. That's all I can say, because your heart will just be filled with joy. My heart's filled with joy. I don't know. Maybe yours won't. Maybe it's not your thing. Maybe your thing's being an artist, or maybe your thing is being a photographer, or, you know, maybe you you're a mechanic. Like, everybody needs something. Everybody needs a form of release. Everybody needs, you know, to find a way to regenerate themselves after a long work week. That is for sure. Especially like for somebody like me that works, you know. This is what I need. This is my vice. So all right, I'll bring you guys back. It's gonna be crazy. I'm gonna be moving these papaya trees and pray that they live. So, all right, guys, it's gonna be a whole new world out here. All right, I'll see you guys soon. All right, so y'all just saw me in a sweater, literally in one of my last videos. And all of a sudden, I'm gonna tell you, it was like overnight, the temperature literally has gotten so hot here. It's already like in the 90s, which is insane. So, we are definitely moving into our hot weather so quickly. But I'm gonna tell you guys, I thought it would just take us maybe like over the weekend to get this project done. And friends, this was a labor of love for sure. This was a lot of work. I am so glad that I had my fiance to help me. I didn't realize that these 3-tiered beds here actually held quite a bit of dirt in them. And so so moving that was a trek, because I had to get it like moved out of the way so that we could get this other bed put in. But look at it. I went ahead and added some onions into it. These are just the Egyptian walking onions. They were already kind of there in one of my other beds. I just kind of moved them around. In the middle, I have gone ahead and added some okra. And I'm going to also put a little bit of, I want to try to do some squash maybe on the sides or something like that, because right in the middle is the okra itself. But look at this blue color. It's almost kind of got like a purpley kind of tint to it. I really like it. I think it's a nice kind of change for us. As you can see, we weren't the best with the dirt and the rocks. So hopefully we don't get that many weeds, but you can see it freed up a lot of space over here in my corner. And so over in this bucket right here, I'm actually going to put some basil because it gets a lot of shade. So I'm excited about that. Basil and I are not the best of friends. I can grow it for sure. I can definitely grow it, but it gets so hot here that a lot of times you kind of got to stand on top of that basil here and really kind of baby it, especially if it's not like in the cooler months. Now in the cooler months I can do much better with my basil, but to be honest with you, in the summertime it's really a lot difficult. So I am definitely thinking for now that I can probably keep it over here in this bed. We moved some of the dirt over here so it looks really shaggy and terrible right now, but my nasturtium or nastrium, they're kind of hanging in there. I didn't actually want to add any water to the bed just yet. I might just try to hand water today. You can see stuff looks kind of wilty and sad. And I don't know if my blue butterfly is going to come back yet. My blue butterfly pea, it's really sad looking too. That frost really nipped that real good. So but I wanted to get these beds moved over here, and the situation is that if I water these beds, what's going to happen is that dirt's going to be so heavy for me trying to lift it. So that is my plan this weekend, is that we are going to be getting this cleaned up. Any vegetables and stuff that are left in here, I'm just going to turn them over, and we're just going to do you know, just add them back into the bed. And I forgot to show you guys, when I was over here, I had some watermelon radishes that I completely forgot about, and they had gotten like really big. I honestly thought they were like a turnip. They had gotten so big, and they weren't woody. They were actually pretty darn good. So, and when I cleaned it out, I had to do something with that tomato, and it had a lot of green tomatoes on it, and unfortunately I had to move it. It just wasn't going to survive the way it was like tangled up all in a bunch of mess. And so I went ahead and pickled that. I can take you guys inside and show you. Everything else is still doing real good. I'm really excited. Over here I got my banana too. I got to plant my bananas, but over here you can see it's coming alive just within a couple of, like, you know, weeks or so, days or so. It's just really kind of popping right here. There's the old beds. My fiance is going to take those to the incinerator this weekend, to our dump, and get rid of those. So we are starting to clean up. You can see the arugula is starting to go to flower. So what I said, it just bolted because it started to get so hot. So unfortunately that's what happened. So I really like to enjoy those wintry crops, like I like to call them, as much as I can during the fall. So over here, I think these, I wanted to say that these are also collard greens, but I'm not sure. I did try to plant some cabbage too, and I hate that when I do stuff and I don't tell you guys what I do, and then I go back in my videos and I'm like, what did I plant? So we're just gonna figure it out together. I'm pretty sure they're collards and not cabbage, but I was kind of hoping they'd be some cabbage. But the most thing that I love the most during our spring summer is gonna be the squash and zucchini. So I got some of that. As soon as I flip these beds over, that is what I'm gonna be adding to a lot of this area, is those, because I'm really excited. You know, I'm trashy around here, man. I just can't keep up. I have so much going on. Look at this weed garden. It's really got some beautiful flowers. You can see some purple over in this area over here. The bees are absolutely loving it. I threw out the tomato cages that were over here in this part of the bed. I got to get that cleaned up. You can still see over here, I have some nasturtium or nasturtiums. There's a, I don't know if you can really tell, but there's a squash just randomly growing, and we really need to weed eat over here because, like I said, spring brings snakes, and I don't want my puppies running over here and getting caught up in that. My lettuce over here in this corner, we can walk around and kind of check it out real quick, goes and gets bitter so fast. So I tried some. I mean, you can see it's beautiful, but it is so bitter all up in here. So I did get some lime. I'm gonna lime this bed for the spring, although, you know, lime takes a little minute to kind of kick in, but nonetheless, I'm still gonna eat this lettuce. I don't think a lot of people actually realize that lettuce really wasn't sweet. Lettuce is used to be really like more medicinal, and so I think that's kind of where that's coming from. My next project after we get this other bed put in, which that will probably take us all weekend. Again, it took us 2 days to do that bed. I mean, that's a lot of work, y'all. Like, you just don't realize, especially being an office person. I say I'm office-fied because I just like sit in the AC a lot, unfortunately. But over here, other than the tomato coming out and the nasturtium, I have got to get this kale out. It's just getting way too hot. I want to go ahead and lime this bed and go ahead and put some nutrients back into this bed and see what we can get growing for our hot weather crops, as I call it, because it's just completely escalating. Back here on the fence, let's just walk over here real quick. I don't want to take a lot of y'all's time because I really appreciate you guys watching, but so like over here, I don't know if you can really see it, but right here I've put in a papaya, and then I put 3 papayas right here. They're definitely looking real sad right now, you know, getting crunchy, but I put those in. I got to get some water out to them. And then over here I put in, yeah, this is looking sad too. I'm telling you, I never can keep really the Barbados cherries. There is my Barbados cherry right here. It's super sad looking. I gotta definitely get a lot of water back onto that. There's another papaya right here. And then the other Barbados I moved over here, so we'll see how that goes. There you go, there's the other Barbados. And then over there is the pineapple guava over here in the corner, matching this one, and then that one on the other side. So we've got a lot of cleanup. We've got this stuff left over from the fence. Nasty, tacky, ugly. So we got to get that cleaned up. That's what I'm saying. There's always so much going on. Like, you keep adding and adding and adding, but you know, you got to clean up at some point. I just wanted to show you guys, like, yes, back here we still got some fencing that we have to get to our incinerator. But look at these purple flowers. I am gonna have to get the name of them. I bought this at one of our local nurseries. It is just absolutely beautiful. That is like the most beautiful purple flowers. I saw it with the beautiful flower when I was at, look at it, it's just so beautiful. I saw that like flower just stood out to me, and I purchased the plant. I literally want to say it's like a morning glory type plant, but I could be mistaken. So I need to go back and see if I can find that for you guys, so that if you'd like to grow that, you can. I definitely recall it being a toxic flower, so it could very well be a morning glory. I don't think there's anything actually attached, like a tag to it, but I can try to go back to my local nursery. This was like actually like last year I bought this, but they have a tendency to have the same things. So I just need to go back and look. Look, I just busted Tiffany now digging a hole. Tiffany. Oh, shame on you. You just made a bad choice. Look, she punishes herself. Oh, did you make a bad choice? These dogs. This is what happens when you run the dog pound. This is what I say. When you start to get outside of 2 dogs, it gets a little wild. But I love my babies, and you know what? They need a good home, so they're not going to be punished, but not punished, but they're going to be scolded, that's for sure. So I got that going on. Yeah, it's just a lot. So I hope you guys are just enjoying this beautiful change in weather. Don't forget, listen, we got to be prepping, we got to be preparing. We can never let that slip. Don't get too comfortable. There are so many people that are losing their job. I just drove past the Big Lots. Big old sign said that they're closing, so it's really sad to see in our community losing anything. So because that just tells me that there's loss of jobs. So it's really hard on the heart, and I'm blessed to have a job. I'm blessed to work, you know, 2 jobs. I'm blessed to you know, be able to still afford the things that I like and enjoy doing. And that's what I said, get with your friends, get with your family, get with people, start growing, do what you can to you know, get through the hard times that I think are coming for sure. There's definitely a storm ahead of us. So, and I don't mean a physical storm, hopefully not any physical storms. We could use some rain though, but yeah, so just, you know, just keep it real, guys. Just be kind to one another. I'm telling you, really, times are really hard. People are crazy, and I literally mean they're losing their minds. So, you know, just have a heart for that, and just remember that when you're trying to work with people. All right, friends, thank you so much for joining me today. We will be back so soon, because I've got to get that other bed put in, and I can't wait to show you guys how beautiful it's going to look. Until next time, love one another, be kind. And Pumpkin and I will see you guys real soon. Yeah. Hi, sweetie. You're a good girl. Yeah. Yeah, you're a good girl. So I just wanted to show you guys real quick. Look what Miss Carrie brought. Oh my goodness. She brought me some tomatoes from her garden. I'm so proud of her for growing these beautiful tomatoes. She also got me some bok choy, and she brought me some collard greens. So I am excited for her for growing. So much love, gratitude. Thank you for being an awesome person. Love, much love goes out to Miss Carrie.